Welcome to DeepTech315. I'm Gene along with Doug, and our topic is OpenAI. A recap what's going on. Will OpenAI remain as a company and what the impact is for broader big tech? And so, Doug, I was thinking, how do we do in a minute kind of the recap? There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on here the last few days.
Maybe 15 seconds. OpenAI's board fired Sam Altman in a shocking move Friday. The entire weekend has been consumed in tech with rumors about why he got fired, what he's going to do next. Then this morning, Microsoft hired Sam Altman and Greg Brockman, two people that left OpenAI. And here we are now with over 700 of the 770 employees at OpenAI saying that they'll leave unless Sam comes back.
And it might be just worth a mention. The reason why he left, again, everything isn't totally clear, but it sounds like there is some question about the board who's thinking more of this as kind of a research project, and Sam Altman who's thinking about more of this as more of a business opportunity, and what the potential, how much to push and stretch AI. So that may be some of the context to why all of this thing came out of nowhere.
Just to be clear too, you said left. He was fired. Just so everyone's clear, he did not leave OpenAI. He was fired by the board.
Correct. I should have been more clear there. And the catalyst of that sounds like just around essentially the direction of the company. And so here we are, like you said, this gets us to up to date. And we'll start with the topic 2, which is, will OpenAI remain as a company? I mean, 700 plus people have signed this supposed petition. I don't know where this petition is at, but all the major news services are reporting on it. That's about 90+% of the OpenAI employees basically are saying, we're going to go wherever Sam goes. And I wonder, is OpenAI even an entity right now?
It's not liquid right now. I can tell you that much. I mean, there was rumors that there was, $80-90 billion in terms of valuation in the secondary markets just at the end of last week. And I'd say that's zero now. Like, no one wants to buy stock in this company, given what's going on. The value is zero today. And so will it go on?
Let me interrupt there. That's probably the most remarkable reduction in valuation. Understand that could change in a heartbeat too, but have you seen anything like that? I can't think of something that's even close to that.
I can't either. Yeah, it's so insane. And I mean, I think to answer the question, will it go on? It feels like there's a few different scenarios that could play out. Maybe this board, which seems like they've kind of dug in a little bit in terms of bringing Sam back, they don't want to relinquish their position because it's part of Sam's negotiations to come back to OpenAI. He wants the board to resign for good reason. And, unless they do that, it seems hard to figure out what the path is here for OpenAI to continue to exist. If 700 employees don't want to work there anymore without Sam, it's hard to say what the future of the company would be in that case. Maybe Microsoft acquires it in some way. I'm not sure structurally how that could work or how that would process, because obviously you have a nonprofit component to OpenAI right now. The board obviously would be the one that would have to deliberate on any potential acquisition offers from another company. So I'm not sure what that would look like. And then scenario 3 is, maybe Sam and Greg bring the whole band together at Microsoft and they just sort of start it over. It feels like those are the options. And it's so crazy. Like, things are happening so fast. It's hard to even put any real, meaningful odds on any of those scenarios.
Right. Well, we won't put odds on it, but just kind of go down the path of, how does the board save OpenAI as it is today? I am going to go under the assumption that these signatures are real and that effectively everyone's going to leave the company if they don't do anything, if they don't bring him back. So isn't OpenAI essentially done at this point? Unless he comes back.
It feels like it, yeah. I think if Sam doesn't come back, it kind of feels like OpenAI is probably done, which is insane to say, given they just had this incredible dev day 2 weeks ago. And now they're
Microsoft's
gone.
dev day was just Yeah.
just last week.
Is there like, what would they have, like the substance of, let's say all the people leave, is there like IP, or is like chat GPT the brand worth $1 billion, or is there something left there that somebody's going to kind of swing in and scoop up? I mean, it's still pennies on the dollar either way you cut it.
It would be. I mean, obviously they have the models. It's unclear to me what exactly the commercial relationships and sort of the investment from Microsoft does in terms of giving Microsoft access to those models. As I sort of understood it through a reading, once they get to AGI, so when they actually achieve AGI, it sounds like Microsoft's kind of
Artificial
claims
general
and ability.
intelligence, that is.
Right. Yeah. General intelligence. It seems like Microsoft's claims to IP from OpenAI cease at that point, and so you could debate when do you get to AGI. But it's pretty murky in terms of what Microsoft has, what OpenAI has that's maybe truly unique at this point. But they do have the model. We know that for sure, right? I mean, they have GPT-4 and they have whatever work they've done so far on GPT-5.
Mm-hmm. This is a little bit of a exercises and guesses on top of guesses here. But if we take the approach of kind of the impact on OpenAI, they're effectively not going to be around unless Altman comes back. And let's go with the case that we'll do the impact. We'll move to the third piece of the pressure point of deep tech here and talk about what happens to broader tech. Let's take the case where Altman stays at Microsoft and then brings over, let's say, I mean, basically Microsoft's going to hire all the people that whatever Sam says hire. I would guess that Microsoft's going to hire all those people.
If I were them, I certainly would. I mean, I think this is a masterstroke by
Right.
Satya Nadella to bring Sam over to turn a terrible situation. I mean, this is the most exciting partnership Microsoft has. It's just evaporated. Now
Yep.
he's brought over really the catalyst of it. And so my view on Microsoft is no matter what happens, like if Sam goes back to OpenAI and the company resumes, that's good for Microsoft because they're the keystone partner. If they don't, right, if Sam doesn't go back to OpenAI, Microsoft has Sam and he's going to bring all the people over. So in either case, I think Microsoft is fine here and they still are in the pole position, in my view, as kind of the AI hardware, or sorry, the AI infrastructure and software company of the world.
Mm-hmm. So pole position, option A is that they all stay over at Microsoft and eventually Altman becomes CEO of Microsoft 5 years down the road. Option B is that they go back, sorry, all this happened. Everything is status quo. And that's positive for Microsoft. In the case of if we think about the economic impact, is there a benefit to Microsoft having all this in-house? Just to think about the 50-50 partnership, I'll guess that there's just more control that Microsoft would have. I mean, ideally for Satya, this would be to bring Sam and company in-house, right? That's probably the best economic outcome for Microsoft and product development outcome too.
It probably is. Yeah. I mean, economically, obviously, you have control of all the revenue that you're generating. You have control of the entire product. You don't have to deal with this, as they say on Twitter, decel mindset of being overly cautious, perhaps in some people's views. It's a very controversial topic, but overly cautious on AI development. That's at the behest of Microsoft instead of this board that now is at the top of everyone's mind. So net, it could be a really great situation for Microsoft coming out of this.
Mm-hmm. And what would they lose? I guess I lose track of how much money the money that they put in is part actual cash, but a lot of it's like Azure credits too. So what would they be out on that front? Probably nothing, because all that good that was built there gets brought over to Microsoft. So should you think of this as like would there be a write down for Microsoft on the OpenAI portion here? There might be a accounting write down, but from economics terms, it would be a wash.
And to a company that's worth over $2.5 trillion in market cap and has tens of billions of dollars in net cash in the balance sheet, it's irrelevant. Doesn't matter.
Yep. Doesn't matter on that front. So let's keep going down this path of, let's say it ends up at Microsoft again. Everything could be status quo, but all this talent ends up at Microsoft. What's the impact for Google? Deepwater's an investor in Google. companies like Apple, Amazon, some of the other hyperscalers. What does this ultimately mean? My take is that if everything kind of ends up at Microsoft, they kind of had this pretty tight grip on at least the what I would consider the business case of around AI. I know that there's other manifestations of it, but the business case and that grip gets tighter. The product innovation probably quickens, and the ability to, as you talked about, kind of opening up kind of the frame that they can use AI for in the products, maybe that expands a little bit. So kind of advantage Microsoft, that advantage bumps up a little bit in the case that everybody comes over, and therefore disadvantage to Google and maybe Apple. But there's still, isn't today just like a great day to be
But I think
somebody
with
who's employed
Google,
at OpenAI
there is a narrow window that's open right now that this event has created for them, where there's still a lot of chaos
for
here,
talent?
right? Like even if Microsoft does, whether they acquire OpenAI, whether they bring the whole team over, whether Sam goes back to OpenAI, whatever the outcome is, there's this turmoil that has been created at the entity.
Right.
Some of the employees might be looking for other options, but it's also taken a little bit of the shine off of OpenAI. Like we just talked about a week ago, we were talking about how awesome and how fast their product
Yeah.
development speed was. GPTs, the store coming, all these things that are super exciting that they're doing. And now we're talking about this weird board governance issue and firing an iconic founder. And so I think that Google right now has a golden opportunity to step in and really say, we are meaningful in AI. We can take the pole position back if we work really fast. Now, I don't know culturally, again, you said we own Google. We also own Microsoft stock at Deepwater. I don't know if Google culturally has that in them. I hope they do as an investor, but this I think is going to be a really telling period for Google. The next 6 weeks between now and the end of the year, if they really go and they're aggressive and you hear some more things coming out of Google, I think that'd be good for them. If you don't, then they miss the opportunity, and it's hard to have a lot of faith in them, I think, at that point.
Feels like the true winners here are the OpenAI employees who are going to probably start getting some multiple bids. And yes, they want to work with Sam, but if Google's out there adding a zero to whatever's going on, that would look pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's maybe a grim consolation because whatever they owned in the $90 billion secondary valuation that OpenAI had a week ago is worth
Oh
zero right
yeah,
now. So they're all probably thinking about that a little bit more than maybe what they'll get going
good
forward.
call.
Either way, they're going to be fine. We know that.
Right on. If I could do it all over again, I would do exactly what I'm doing right now. Second option to that would be an AI developer. So this is obviously a topic that's going to keep evolving. Doug and I will keep you up to date on that behalf of Deep Tech 315. Bye for now.